Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Opinions from the Armchair, the creme brulee of internet shows. It's small, sweet, has an air of refinement, but not costly. In this episode, I review the Walt Disney film Zootropolis.
In the world of Zootopia, humans never happened, which makes Zootopia a modern, civilized world that is entirely animal.
It's made by the same team behind Big Hero 6 and Frozen. You know, the ones who are keeping Disney afloat. We follow the main character, Judy Hopps, as she fulfills her childhood dream of becoming a police officer in the city for which the film is named, Zootropolis, alternatively known in some countries as Zootopia. Interestingly, in Germany it's called Zoomania and not Zooburg. Hey, do you think in Switzerland it's called Zurich? Anyway, the city is being plagued by a mysterious string of disappearing citizens. Judy steps up to crack the case, enlisting the help of a con artist, Nick Wilde, a stereotypically sly and shifty fox.
So now you know, Zootopia. Like nothing you've seen before.
So, what's it like? Well, I went into this movie with low expectations. When I was a kid, Walt Disney was the king of children's entertainment, but I lost respect for it over the years as Disney seemed to become less concerned with quality and more concerned with making money. And on its face, Zootopia/Zootropolis struck me as being potentially nothing more than a cynical cash grab, capitalizing on a child's stereotypical love of talking animals and not bothering to make a story of any substance because they assume the kids will go gaga over the idea of elephants serving ice cream. But I was pleasantly surprised with the unexpected imagination and depth that this film has for its setting and characters. And not only do they show real craftsmanship in telling a story, but they also teach kids about the harmful, real-world issues of race and prejudice, but do it without being offensive to anyone. One of the first things that struck me was both the city of Zootropolis and its civilization. Now, a world of talking animals is nothing new. In fact, it's been a staple of cartoons for as long as there have been cartoons.
This is the world of Dr. Dolittle, the wonderful world of Dr. Dolittle, where crocodiles talk and elephants sing and animals do most any old thing, where polar bears wear top hats and leopards with spots wear spats. Well, that's life in the world of Dr. Dolittle. Doves start to coo when they see Dolittle. He has a profound philosophy. If animals can be friends, says he, well then, why can't we?
But my creative writing teacher taught me that originality is not necessarily coming up with a new concept, but doing something new with it. And that's just what they've done here. They've taken the typical animal civilization, but have delved deeper into it, asked what effects it would have. For one thing, there is the city itself. The city of Zootropolis is built to accommodate all kinds of animals. To do this, it has been constructed with several artificial environments. Featured in the film is Savannah Square, Tundra Town, and the Rainforest District. Apparently they couldn't think of an alliteration for that one. This immediately struck me as going deeper on the idea of what a world of animals would be like, as well as showing imagination and making the setting far more diverse and interesting. I particularly liked the chase scene in Little Rodentia.
coming through. Excuse me, pardon.
Bon voyage, Flatfoot!
Hey, stop right there!
Have a donut, copper!
Oh my god, did you see those leopard print jeggings?
Oh! I love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
And that's another thing that Zootropolis does differently. Instead of making all the anthropomorphic animals the same approximate size, they come in all shapes and sizes according to their real-world counterparts. And for me, this brings up an interesting issue. How would a civilization cope with such diversity in the anatomy of its citizens? Is the whole city divided into businesses and homes for small, medium and large animals? Do smaller animals have to be kept out of those areas to avoid being stepped on? How much would this complicate mass production? You see, humans are the same general size. Clothing companies can make t-shirts in standard small, medium and large sizes. But could that function with such a diversity of body types? And the same goes for cars. There's a part where we see an extremely tall car designed for giraffes, and it made me wonder, is there a manufacturer in this world who specifically makes cars for giraffes? How big of a market is that? Would it be enough to economically justify the manufacturing of giraffe cars? And the same goes for every other kind of product. I believe that mass production has been a huge contribution to civilization as we know it, making everything more plentiful and more affordable, and even a key part of the progress of technology, mass-producing books and school supplies to make education available to all, along with affordable equipment for research and development centres. Could mass production exist in a world where everything has to be scaled for the individual? Does everything have to be custom made? And what strain and effect will that have on the economy and the civilization? Actually, Zootopia doesn't answer any of these questions. The whole size thing is more of an amusing background piece, but it does play a huge part in regards to the story's heroine. Ever since she was a child, Judy has dreamt of moving to Zootropolis and joining the police force. She has idealized the city because it has been founded on the principles of harmony and equal opportunity for all species. But apparently there has never been a single rabbit police officer, but through diligence and persistence, Judy Hopps breaks the species barrier and graduates the top of her class, and shortly receives her first assignment. At first, no one takes her seriously. Despite her grades, no one believes she is physically capable of doing the job and handling criminals, despite the attitude that the city has been founded on. Now, we've all seen movies where someone has been chasing an impossible dream while being dogged by ignorant naysayers and who say that the hero can't do something because of what they are. But in this case, the naysayers actually have a point. Despite her determination and academic achievements and liberality granted by the civilization, Judy Hopps is a rabbit. She is small, and the city is home to animals of all sizes. To be fair, if I was a criminal, I would not feel threatened by someone who barely came up to my knees. Now, if she had a gun, that would be different. But this is a family movie, so the deadliest weapon we see throughout is a taser. Judy Hopps becomes disillusioned The city of Zootropolis was supposed to be a place where, quote, anyone can be anything. And as for special harmony, she witnesses a fox, Nick Wilde, being refused to be served at an ice cream parlour because he is a fox. And as such, he is labelled as shifty and untrustworthy. Yes, this movie explores prejudice, bias, and racism.
Excuse me? Down here? Hi.
O.M. goodness. They really did hire a bunny. What? I gotta tell you, you are even cuter than I thought you'd be.
Ooh, you probably didn't know, but a bunny can call another bunny cute, but when other animals do it, it's a little...
I am so sorry.
The clever part is, by doing it with animals, it conveys the message but avoids offending anyone. In the ice cream parlour, it took me a while to realise that I was seeing an act of racism, because it's simply never seen in this kind of media. Now, I believe if there is something that divides people into groups, there will be at least the potential for bigotry and violence. As I mentioned, the city is divided into several very different districts. These simulated environments are contained by huge walls, and little Rodentia is fenced off to avoid people from stepping on them. There is nothing to prevent the citizens from travelling between these districts, but still I think that they would they would create a mentality of us and them. I think the writers raise an interesting question. How can we ensure racial harmony in a city whose very nature demands separation? Although she is not aware of it, Judy Hopps herself is a little bit species biased. The reason she followed Nick into the ice cream parlour is because she saw a fox lurking around outside and automatically thought he was up to something, because everyone knows foxes are criminals. And interestingly, the film is playing on a common theme. We've all heard children's stories where the villain was a fox or a wolf. Shortly afterwards, Judy gets a chance to prove herself by solving a case involving the disappearance of mammals all over the city, and recruits the reluctant Nick. Now, unlike in some other children's media, there is definitely a lot of mystery to this mystery.
We have 14 missing mammal cases, all predators, from a giant polar bear to a teensy little otter. And City Hall is right up my tail to find them.
Unlike some other children's films, it isn't blatantly or immediately obvious what's going on, and the writers do a good job of planting some very subtle clues that don't seem to be put there to be noticed. And yet, everything makes sense, and at the end, we are left with a mystery with all the loose ends neatly tied up. And without any spoilers, I can tell you that the film concludes with a speech from Judy Hopps. It's a positive note, but at the same time, not what you'd normally expect. She tells how, since her childhood, she has thought of Zootopia as a place where everyone got along and anyone could be anything. That image was broken through everything she experienced and witnessed. She now realizes the freedom and equality of the city is just an ideal. But that doesn't mean the city can't live up to it. Ideals do not automatically exist, but they need to be made real, worked on, and encouraged in others. We all have dreams, but we also all have limitations. But that doesn't mean we cannot achieve great things. I was stunned because, normally, films such as this end with a perfect world. Judy Hopps, however, reminds us that the world isn't perfect. It never has been. But that doesn't mean it can't be changed for the better. It's true. While everyone has the right to be anything, there are barriers to that, barriers put up by society, and that, in that respect, the world needs to be changed. It's a mixture of realism and idealism that still had a positive message and really stuck with me. But now for the film's bad stuff. I mentioned before that the premise was more than a way to prey on pop culture and pre-existing medias, but there were a few instances where I feel that's exactly what they did. Firstly, everyone in this film has modern mobile devices with touchscreens.
Step beside her.
Wow, you're one hot dancer.
And to me, this comes across as a way of simply making it hip and relevant to the kids today. Oh, see this kid? He's a fox, but he's got an iPhone. See, this is Bunny, but she has an iPad. See? But in all fairness, maybe it just seems that way to me because I'm part of an older generation, and perhaps such gadgetry has become as commonplace now as these newfangled personal computers or even the horseless carriage. Secondly, was this scene when Judy Hopps went to the DMV to run a plate number.
They're all sloths?
What, are you saying that because he's a sloth he can't be fast? Flash, 100-yard dash. Buddy, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
Now, America has been going on and on for years about how inefficient its DMV is. And frankly, it's gotten to the point where I just want to shout, enough already! Yes, the DMV is slow and inefficient, we get it. They're just using a running joke to pander to the public. And speaking of running jokes, thirdly, there is this scene with the infamous crime lord, Mr. Big.
Is that Mr. Big?
Stop talking.
To express my feelings about this joke, I'm going to adopt the voice of Fued from Family Guy. Oh ho ho ho! Oh, he is called Mr. Big, but he is actually very small. Oh ho ho ho! It's funny. Oh, it gets worse.
You come here unannounced on the day my daughter is to be married. Isom.
Daddy! What did we say? No icing anyone at my wedding!
I have to, baby. Daddy has.
Yes, they've actually done a parody of The Godfather. I've never even seen that film, and even I think this joke has been done to death. The only way kids are going to get it is if they actually go see The Godfather. So I feel sorry for this joke because of its problem, and at the same time sickened by the solution. Fourthly, there is a burning plot hole that never gets addressed. If predator and prey do indeed live together in harmony, what do the predators now eat? Since predators can only eat meat, they simply have to be provided with some sort of meat from a non-sentient animal, if this society is going to work. But we never actually are told how the people of this civilization got around this. I mean, we see predators eating ice cream and drinking coffee, but people cannot live off ice cream and coffee alone. Fifthly and finally, there is the aptly, if not originally named, pop star Gazelle.
Call the paparazzi. Here's the most famous face in Zootopia.
I won't give up, no, I won't give in.
Gazelle.
Are you familiar with Gazelle? Greatest singer of our lifetime, angel with horns.
She's got a killer voice, some fierce moves, and some serious fans.
She is based on Shakira, who apparently is some sort of real-life pop star. Seriously, I never heard of her until I saw this film. She was featured a lot in the film's trailers, but she comes across as nothing more than a glorified background character whose only role in the film is to sell it. Interestingly though, Gazelle was originally designed with thinner hips, until Shakira herself said that Gazelle looked too skinny, and that they should, quote, put some meat on her. And I think that's something you rarely hear in this era of young girls turning to anorexia and bulimia to gain that showbiz body, particularly coming from someone who is already in show business. So, kudos to you, Shakira. So, while Zootropolis doesn't necessarily answer all those nitpicky questions about what a civilization of animals would really be like, it still goes much deeper into the subject than any other production I've ever seen. I went into this film with low expectations, but instead I was treated to a potential landmark film. Landmark because they found a way to make a film that deals with racism, even has a slightly racist main character, and still makes it accessible and appropriate for kids. It's found a way to teach kids about the harmful effects of racism without being harmful itself. And in the words of Martin Luther King Jr., intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education. Tune in next time for more Opinions from the Armchair.